Jarrett Marcel. I'm the owner of T.P.S. Music Academy, and today's going to be the first in a series of interviews in which we speak with some of the many talented teachers that we have here at our academy. Our first interview coming up is going to be with Miss Ansleigh Cook, who is our violin teacher. Now, she's been working with us here for a little over 2 years, and she's getting ready to go to college in the Austin, San Antonio area. So obviously she won't be able to teach here at our academy anymore, but she's going to continue working in tandem with us through online lessons. So one of the first questions I asked for her today is, what does being a teacher mean to you?
For me, being a teacher, there's a bunch of things that I really enjoy about being a teacher. So I really love whenever I'm working with a student for a long amount of time or a short amount of time on something that I tried to teach them and it wasn't quite clicking, but then after working with them for a little bit of time, it finally clicks, and then I see the payoff moment, and I really enjoy watching my students actually understand what we're talking about instead of kind of raising the line of understanding, and then they finally completely understand, and then they can go more in depth for other things in the future with learning music. I also really enjoy being able to change my teaching style based on all of my students. So I have some students that are like, they don't really talk that much in lessons, and it's much easier for me to just give them music and they'll practice it. There's not much of that. But then I have some students that are really extroverted in lessons and really like to be physical and do things with their hands. So I get to change my teaching style to be able to play games with them so that they can learn things a little better instead of me just having one teaching style and making them work with it. It makes it easier for both of us as a teacher and student so that we're able to completely work together instead of clashing ideas. I also really enjoy being able to implement things that I have pretty much just learned. Whenever I started teaching, I was 15, so I hadn't really taken a lot of music theory yet. But by the time I was 17, I had started doing a lot of music theory, and I was able to start implementing that in lessons. And a lot of my students were really, really excited about it because we had never done anything like that before. I got to start teaching them intervals, I got to teach them triads, and most of my students were really, really excited about it. I really love being able to just go off with a new topic that I pretty much just learned and I understand so that they can also understand it too. It's a lot of fun. And I think one of the last things would be how me teaching at such a young age and me being able to go through college already with teaching experience, how that will be able to help me later in life as a professional musician. I already have 2-3 years of teaching experience in high school, and in college I'll probably have way more, so it'll be a lot easier for people in the future to be like, oh, you've been teaching for a really long time, we'd love to see that. So it'll just help with a little bit of success in the future, which I really like. That's cool.
Yes, I agree. I think most of us that are teachers that teach, whether semi-professionally or professionally, or in the music world, or even in school districts, probably have those same views when it comes to teaching. And so my next question for you is, why do you enjoy teaching children?
So one of the biggest things that I like about being able to teach a new generation of musicians is being able to fill any gaps that previous teachers may not have been able to fill with knowledge of music. Another big thing, a lot of students I have, they tend to come in with some technique that may be incorrect, and I really enjoy cleaning up that technique so they can be the best musician they can be. I also like being able to implement new things to make sure that my students don't make the same mistakes that I made whenever I was a growing musician. Another big thing, I really like being able to communicate with my students and being able to build that teacher-student relationship. Whenever I have students that come in and they want to talk about their day, I really like listening to them so that we can build that trust between us, because they can listen to me with things that I teach, and things that I've done with my day, and then I will absolutely 100% listen to them with things that they've done and things that they want me to know with their day and with things that they've learned in school or something like that. It really helps build a lot of trust there, and I really enjoy being able to have those relationships with my students. I feel like it really makes it a lot more pleasurable for both student and teacher to be able to really dig in with teaching and learning.
I agree. I think those of us that have been teaching for a while have probably had the similar experiences and probably feel a lot of similar fulfillments when it comes to teaching kids. So my next question for you is sort of a loaded question, and that is, what do you see as being the primary challenge in doing lessons online? As we know, most learning institutions have had to switch to doing huge portions of their curriculum online and using various software medias like Zoom to be able to do either one-on-one private instruction or full classrooms using that software. So my question to you is, what kind of challenges do you see yourself involved with in having to do lessons online? And do you also find light in those challenges? Are there certain things about those challenges possibly that even bring out positive aspects of teaching?
So using an online media itself already presents challenges. One of the biggest things that I've run into is being able to line up audio, being able to line up metronomes, being able to play together. That is one of the biggest barriers that I've found. Being in a different room with different audio happening at different times is a really, really big thing that can mess you up. If my student has their metronome on and I'm trying to clap along with them, I cannot clap along with them because they have one tempo going and I have a slight tiny bit of lag that's after their metronome happens, and I can't play at the exact same time as them. So one of the best ways that I've been able to figure out how to be able to play at the same time or clap at the same time as them is to take a video on my own phone with me clapping out the exercise and then sending it to them so that they can clap along with my exercise instead of me trying to clap at the same time as them over audio, and then you have so many different sounds happening. It's a lot easier to overcome the barriers whenever you have to really in-depth think about it. If my student has their metronome on and they're going at one tempo and they can't figure out how to change the subdivisions, they don't know how to change the time signature they're in, I can't really help them because I have no idea what metronome they're using unless they show me. So one of the biggest ways to work around that is to make sure that we're using all of the same things. Making sure that we have a set tempo, making sure that we're both on the right tempo, making sure we know how to navigate through that app 100%. So taking like maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes of our time just looking at that app instead of just trying to figure it out as we're going and having all of these problems. It saves a lot of time later on to just figure it out firsthand or at the first moment, so you don't run into so many problems at later times. And then for me, I'm in a comfortable space at my house whenever I'm teaching, so one of the biggest problems that I have is being able to not encounter distractions. I'm in a comfortable place at my house. I'm comfortable in my room with my dogs, just sitting on my bed, being able to teach, and it's really hard for me to not get distracted, so I have to remove all of those distractions. I have to put my phone down, I gotta remove all tabs that aren't related to my lessons. I have to go into an enclosed space that doesn't have like my parents or my dogs or my brothers or anything in there with me, so I can just focus on teaching my student and nothing else. So it's a really big challenge for me to stay completely devoted to that one thing, but you gotta figure it out. And I've done that, so that's great.
Well, Ansleigh, I want to thank you for your time. I know you're only back in Lake City temporarily. You're still in the process of getting your dorm, your room all set up, and and getting everything moved out west. And so we want to wish you luck with your schooling there. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a follow-up with you in December and just kind of see how your semester went during the fall and just to touch base with you, okay? Thanks for coming out.